Just to be here with you.
Well, Darlene, Bob, thank you for coming. We're glad to have you. So tell me, what went through your mind when I called you up and I said, you know, we'd like you to come help us bring in Homecoming 2010, celebrating a theme that is somewhat 60s based when your Ferris student career started, really actually
58
finished.
to 60, and then many years after that.
Can you tell me what you thought when I said that to you?
Yes, I was very surprised, and I wondered, does he know who he's talking to? And I just felt so privileged and so honored that, because Ferris is very important to me and my family, since all my children are going here, my grandchildren now are starting to go to Ferris. So it was such an honor, and I was speechless. It took me a while to know what to say and how to answer, and of course we had a surprise party planned for Bob.
Yes.
So I wasn't quite sure now, what do I do now?
Who knew we would put Homecoming together for Bob's birthday?
Yeah,
I mean, that was good timing, I think.
But I just felt very honored, and this was 50 years. I got my Golden Eagle and went to all the celebrations for 150th, and it just was such a wonderful opportunity.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about, you graduated the first time from Ferris in 1960. Right. You have 2 degrees from Ferris.
1960, I have 2 degrees.
You've taught here. Tell us a little bit about how it's changed from the institute to the college to the university that you now know it as today.
What I would say, it's a thread in time. It's like walking a path, because some things really haven't changed. Because when I taught here, the Pracken was here, and of course I graduated. I went 2 years through the old Alumni building. And so that big sign, Alumni building, means a lot to me, because I used to hang out those windows
oh, sure.
during lunchtime. And I think I lived on Kit Kats back then for lunch. Mm-hmm. And then we'd hang out the windows and just really enjoyed the campus. And as you come and you go, I came back and finished my baccalaureate degree here in teacher's ed, and then allied health teacher's education. And then I left and came back again, or no, during that time I started teaching here too. And so that to me was marvelous, that I could actually teach at Ferris, because growing up this was just a crown. And I watched the old Ferris burn. So I stood out on the main street, out on the street that runs in front of Celovis.
The Oak Street.
Oak Street. I stood across the street and watched Ferris burn and watched the walls come in. And,
wow.
And I remember how sad that was. And of course, in that article I mentioned Jim McAvoy was the police officer that headed the junior police, which I was involved in. And he was in that blaze, and we didn't know what was happening to him. And he's been a lifelong friend. He lives in Bay City. But those are all memories. And I think to say, did Ferris change? It sure did. It's, I get sentimental.
No, I'm glad, and we're glad you do, and we certainly appreciate the many ways that the both of you have stayed involved with Ferris over the years. As I think about the homecoming theme for this year,
yes.
it's come back to where you once belonged. You sort of live that day in and day out with your business, owning an antique shop.
With the business, antique shop, and I have things from Ferris in the shop, and I purchase everything I can get that comes through that comes from Ferris. And I try to keep the memory alive of the early days. I just am in the process of purchasing one of the old wool lap robes.
Okay.
So I'm going to have that to put in the shop and hang up. So my shop is a Ferris shop, a Big Rapids shop. But to see Ferris grow, I wanted to get back to that just for a second. To see Ferris grow from an institute, I was so afraid as I saw Ferris grow that it would lose its occupation programs, where people could have their education and then go on and get their degrees or higher degrees, because that's what I did. I went through dental assisting, came back, got my teaching degree, and then went on and got my doctorates. And that was very important. It gave me that early beginning, and Ferris still has that here. Not the same programs, things are different, but they still support that. And the teachers here are very supportive of the students. In fact, my granddaughter now is in school here, and one of her teachers said, "I'd like to be your mentor." and help you. He saw something in her that he would like to see grow.
Priceless.
And so, where do you get that?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a great indication of who we are, and that has
right.
remained a constant.
That's right. So Ferris has a lot of good memories. And Dean Swan, a lot of the professors that were here, in fact, George Roman, he comes into the shop all the time to see me. Him and his wife come in, and it's such a pleasure when they come in. And Dr. Fleming, he comes in. And so I see a lot of the old-time faculty I used to work with, and people that were here. Not all the teachers are here anymore that were here when I was a student. But I can tell you lots of stories about those days. And the football games and the basketball games. And I didn't miss much of anything. And the parades. I've got a picture of my dad with his Eaton Brother truck in the parade with the drafting students on the back of the pickup truck. It was an old rack truck, an old Ford rack truck, I think. There's always a reason to come back. And this is what I would like to say to students now who are at fairs, is make your friends, make your memories here, because someday those will be very important.
Absolutely.
And I've always supported Darlene with education because it's very important to us, both of us. And we've encouraged the kids to pursue as much education as they can because that's your future. And your career is your lifestyle. And your life is really your faith. You have faith in yourself, faith in your teachers, faith in your mentors, faith in the system. And that's what it's all about. And I did not go to Ferris here, but I missed the college experience because even though I have a doctorate, I did mine the hard way. But it took me 9 years to get my bachelor's degree because I went nights and went on Saturdays, and I worked during the day. So education has always been important for both of us. And it's always something we put first. Even with our granddaughter, what do you need? How can we help you? Because we want her to have that same opportunity. And that's what education is an opportunity. And it's what you do with that opportunity. And this lady has done great things with that opportunity, and she got it right here at Ferris. So I'm the support person. That's I'm kind of the pusher, you know, to move things along in that direction and keep the goal.
When people ask me, I've gone to a number of schools. Of all the schools you've gone to, which do you think you got your best education? It's a no,
hands down.
Hands down. Ferris Institute, Ferris State College,
Amen.
Ferris University.
Amen.